Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In The Mix at episode 110. It feels insane saying that out loud, but we are firing through, and this is our final episode of our very first season in the Premier Division. If you haven't gone and watched yesterday's episode, go and check that out because there are going to be full spoilers. But before we get to those, every episode this week, we are wearing this fantastically designed Mazala t-shirt, however you want to pronounce it, designed by Jim G FM, whose link is in the description below, in support of Campaign Against Living Miserably. If you're someone you know is struggling, particularly with how the world is at the moment with lockdown, quarantine, whatever else, check out the link in the description below. They have a variety of tips, tricks, strategies that can help you through this time to help people cope. It's not that easy a thing to always admit when you're struggling. And even if you might feel okay, some of the strategies there are absolutely fantastic. I would recommend everyone going and checking it out. Not just for yourself, but for the people around you who might need a little bit of support as well. Back to Isle of Man stuff, we have pretty much got 11th place stitched up. We'll jump into the full game and have a look at how we're doing. So as you guys can see here, just above my head, no, wrong side, just above my head, in 11th position, 36 games played, 12 wins, 10 draws, 14 defeats in that time, -4 goal difference and 46 points. It would take a small miracle for us to catch Everton in 10th to finish in the top half, but I'm more than happy with where we've gone this season. Leeds are now 6 points behind us, as are Norwich. We've got better goal differences than both of them, and we have the opportunity to get revenge on Chelsea, who smashed a 6-1 earlier on in the season, and play Wolves, who unfortunately for them are already relegated this season. Wolves, West Ham and West Brom all confirmed as relegated sides going down into the Championship. We will and are checking out a few different people in their squads to see what sort of players we may potentially try and bring in. One, because we need English talent and they've got very good academies. And two, because those players aren't going to want to play championship football anyway, so we might as well pick them up. As far as our squad's concerned, we've got pretty much a full strength lineup to pick from. So through the magic curtain, you want to jump forward and look at the lineups for the Chelsea game. So first, looking at our side, it's pretty much the lineup that's played the majority of the games in the second half of the season. Everyone just playing in their preferred role in our formation, in our structure. We've gone attacking the whole season to try and outscore teams. We're going to try and do it again today, albeit against a very strong Chelsea lineup. It'll be Kubas in goal, Sigurdsson and Escobar as the defensive partnership. Anonio at left back, who we picked up in January from Toronto. He's been fantastic for us. Ben Schop comes back in. He's picked up so many knocks throughout the course of this season. Actually, now as I'm saying it out loud, let's have a look at his medical report. He's been out just chunks of this whole season, pretty much all the way through, which has been quite frustrating. Maybe that's the side that we try and look at strengthening a little bit during the off-season. Wolf and Barbosa will play as the midfield partnership. Likely the last appearances that you're going to see for the Wolf. I think we're going to move him on at the end of the season, depending on what else is in the market to anchor our midfield. Aguirre at the 10, Londono on left wing, Fessler on the right, and Alton Miranda, our leading scorer, who's been in fantastic form, leading the line up top. I forgot to mention, we beat West Ham 2-0 with an Alton Miranda double in the game that we played off screen. Looking at Chelsea's lineup, it's very, very strong. They still have Erling Haaland up front. He's the last holdout of the actual normal players or actual real players in the squad. 31 years of age now, still got 17 finishing, 16 penalties, 17 concentration, determination, 19 off the ball. Wonderful physical attributes despite being in his 30s now. Just an incredible player who has had a wonderful career. Of course, he hadn't moved to Dortmund when we started up this series, so he's been at Chelsea pretty much his entire career after being picked up from Salzburg. They have some absolute stars as well. They've got this right back here, Stephen Campbell, 20-year-old English wonder kid at right back. We looked at him a couple of seasons ago, couldn't afford him, obviously, because Chelsea don't need cash from anybody. He has had a fantastic season as well, 34 appearances so far this year. In midfield, they've got Theo McKernan, who's been a stalwart of the England lineup for the last few seasons, still only 24, but 50 caps to his name already. An excellent player, 19 first touch, 18 technique, 18 decision-making, vision, a whole bunch of different 17s in there as well. He is an absolute beast of a player. And he wears the captain's armband for them at the moment. They've got Karamoko, who was, I think, their record signing this most recent off-season. They paid £92 million for him from Red Bull Leipzig. He's been an absolute star. And Haaland, their leading scorer, we already spoke about him, but he already has 20 goals in 20 appearances and 2 appearances off the bench this season. A wonderful scoring rate, including, I think, either a double or a hat-trick last time we played them. Assertively, we're going to say we owe Chelsea after what happened in our last match. Actually, I'm also just going to go back in and just tell everybody that I've got faith in them. We rode our luck last time out to finally get that 6-point episode yesterday. We probably would be riding our luck again today to get beyond Chelsea, who we know are a very good team. They're pretty much secured Champions League football, but they will be looking to finish in second spot and overtake Man City today. Aguirre, wide free kick, first highlight of the game. Looks towards back stick, but Kalkani is I think how you'd pronounce that, comes out well and claims, I've randomly given myself the hiccups as they come flying forward. Karamoko with a strike from distance is a good strike. I don't know where that hiccups come from. They have played such good football that they have caused me to have indigestion. We're going to check this one out. It's a good switch here from Campbell. We spoke about him in the build-up, and he just finds Karamoko on the far side, who gets a touch on and just unleashes, pretty much rising into the roof of the net. I can't be too upset at Kubis. And when they've got that quality on the counter-attack and able to switch the play that quickly, they're a very, very good team. Throwing now on the right-hand side for Chelsea into Cairo. Now back to Lima. Looks to square it up to Cairo at the top of the box again, who gets a similar drive, similar distance from Dembele's initial strike. Oh, sorry, Karamoko's Dembele. Karamoko Dembele is a player that plays for Celtic. This guy is named Karamoko as his surname, which is entirely different to Karamoko Dembele, where Karamoko is his first name. I have been horrific this week in terms of actually articulating the things that I want to say and having coherent sentences. We're going to use our get demand more shout. We're going to use our get demand. That's not a thing. That's not in the game. I should just give up. Maybe we'll just let this one play out and I just talk random shit for the rest of the episode. Half time, we're 1-0 down. We've had 3 shots, 2 on target and 51% of the ball. They've had 10 shots, 5 on target and 49% possession. Aggressively, I'm going to say, show me something else in the second half. And everyone seems to have responded positively except Lucas Fessler, which is an interesting one. We do have a few different players on the bench that can play on that right-hand side. We might look to make that sub, depending on his form, fitness, whatever else. Both of our wingers, actually. Londono, who's on the ball now. And, it's actually a good ball. And Alton Miranda gets there again before Goff challenges. And we win the corner. I don't know what that brief delay was with Alton Miranda trying to bring the ball under control for the second strike. Aguirre goes near post to Sigurdsson, and it's straight at Calgani in goal. Every time I've said the Chelsea keeper's name, I've said it a different way so far. And the highlight here has continued, which is where their last highlight started as well. Fessler's gone through Karamoko Dembele. If he picks up a second yellow card after cracking the shits at half time, I will sell him. I'm going to sell him. Lucas Fessler, straight red card. Jesus Christ. And we've gone down to 10 men. What are we going to do here? Maybe we'll drop Aguirre and bring on Rosero and just stay attacking, but just go a little bit more direct in what we're doing, which would mean we want Londono on attack and we want Rosero on attack as well, the 2 Colombians. Let's see what they can do. But just stupid from Lucas Fessler. Ball here from the corner. Russo to take. Barbosa with a header away, but Karamoko comes back in again and beats the man and forces a very good save out of Kubis. Kubis does very well coming out early. Once the man gets beaten, he comes out, makes himself big. There is potential that one day he's going to get passed around. We've just conceded. Erling Haaland just loves playing against this. Just whatever. I'm not going to complain. Chelsea are very good. And to be fair, a lot of the top teams in this division have beat us handily throughout the course of the year. It was headed away by Escobar, and Haaland just gets ahead of Barbosa there. He's a big boy, to be fair, 190-something centimetres, I think. Heads it back in for the 2-goal advantage. We're through the hour mark now. Let's look at our subs. And judging by ratings, Londono really struggling. Jimmy Winter will come on as that inverted winger on the other side. Barbosa struggling as well. We might as well bring on Senna, who's a little bit more defensive, but still a good player. It does mean we've used all 3 subs with 30 minutes remaining, which likely means there's another red card or an injury inbound. McKernan with the strike there. We're 3-0 down now. I'm pretty much just letting this one play out the way it's going to play out. If Chelsea score 5 goals, at least we can look back and say, hey, you guys got to see a lot of highlights in today's episode. I'm just happy to be staying in the division, to be fair. Karamoko with a wonderful run, and McKernan with the strike absolutely leathers it. The keeper would have been a little bit unsighted, both by the Ben Shop and I think Haaland. And we're going to proceed with the changes, and we're also going to use our Get Creative shout. Just start banging it long, lads. Let's see what happens. Throw in here on the right for Chelsea. Well stood up by the Wolf, who looks to send one down the line. There was no one there. But Winter has managed to find a one-man press. Can he square it up now to Alton Miranda? Can we find the finish? We can indeed. 21st goal of the season for Alton Miranda. It is purely a consolation, but we got a consolation goal. That's enough to celebrate all on its own. Wonderful work here from Jimmy Winter. Scovio takes a poor touch. Winter pretty much does a one-man press and then has the common sense to just play it outside of the right foot across to Alton Miranda, who side foots at home for his 21st of the year. He has been absolutely magnificent this season, and I really think we're going to struggle to keep him during the off-season if some of the sides that are interested in him start to make bids. Dobrich, deep ball across, and Goff with the header at far post, thankfully over the crossbar. We're into the last 10 minutes now. We're going to use our demand more shout here just to try and give everyone some focus. Most of the sides responded positively, but a couple of anxious players out there as well. 4 minutes of additional time to be added on. Are there any late highlights to bring this game to a close? No, it doesn't look like it. The referee calls full time. Chelsea deserve 3-1 winners. After going down to 10 men, we were always going to be in a bit of trouble, and that's where they got their 2 goals in the second half. We had 11 shots, 8 on target, 51% of the ball. They had 23 shots, 11 on target, and 49% possession. Very, very impressive from the team from London. Assertively, we're going to say we were underdogs. You gave it your best effort. Let's go with that. Let's just keep morale as high as we possibly can in this little run home. So that does see Chelsea move up into second spot, which is very interesting. And it's very tight at that top end of the table for a lot of those sides in and around the Champions League, I should say. But I think Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool have got that stitched up. It just depends what order they're going to finish in. Newcastle, Brighton, Arsenal, and potentially... Oh, well, no, not Tottenham. So Newcastle, Brighton and Arsenal will likely be the sides in the Europa League. And I think Bournemouth are already qualified for winning the Carabao Cup as well. Everton lost to Leicester, but not enough, unfortunately, for us to catch them. It's a little bit too late in the season for us to be pushing on for 10th spot. But at least I think a top-half finish is achievable for us next year. Chelsea deserve winners. Karamoko, with his wonderful strike, gets the Man of the Match award and a 9.0 match rating. Fessler is banned for the next game, which is fine. And Alts Miranda, this lovely little scoring run that he's been on in the second half of the season, he's now just shy of 20 league goals. And if he gets it, I will happily give him 50k as a reward for his fantastic performances. So Fessler's going to miss out, and potentially we'll have a look at if we want to keep Fessler for next season. I'm just getting so frustrated with these wingers at the moment. He is quite good. Yeah, anyway, that's fine. That's a conversation for another day, I think. It will mean Rosero starts the last game. We're going to see out the season with the Colombians on the wings. But otherwise, we should be able to get pretty much the whole squad to line up again next time out. Magic editing. I'm going to jump forward to the game against Wolves now. Right, just like that, we are a week ahead now. We have made a couple of changes. I brought in Tyron Taylor because I think this is kind of going to be like a farewell game for him, as well as the Wolf. Santa will play alongside him because Barbosa is away with the Brazilian side somewhere. I don't know why they've been called up for the last game of the season. It's ridiculous, but we've also lost Ben Schott, which means Sean Dixon will come in at right back there. Rosero plays on the right with Fessler out suspended. But otherwise, it is an unchanged lineup. I say otherwise. There's like 4 different changes. That's not an unchanged lineup in any way. Looking at the Wolves side, though, they have got quite a few actual players still going. Davinson Sanchez, at 35 years of age, still playing in in central defence. And he's had quite the career. Left Tottenham to go to Barcelona, where he spent 9 years. Was at Barcelona B last season, which is then where Wolves picked him up from. So that's kind of an interesting fall from grace. And you can see physically, not quite at the races at the moment anymore either. They've got Ben Godfrey alongside him. They picked him up from Norwich via Arsenal. He actually made 45 appearances for England, which is crazy. He's now 34 years of age, though, so he's dropped off quite a bit. Ruben Neves still going at 35 years of age, anchoring that midfield for them. In his second stint at Wolves, actually, he went to PSG, then at Chelsea for 2 seasons before coming back to Wolves this year, where he's made 27 appearances and scored 1 goal. And they've got Lucas Paqueta as well, playing at the number 10 from AC Milan, 34 years of age. It's a very old Wolves team. He was at Milan, then at Tottenham, and now Wolves for this season. Why have they brought in so many 34 and 35-year-old players? That's absolutely crazy. The one that I will focus on here is Sean Ainsley, who we're keeping an eye on. He was a wonder kid previously at Tottenham. We tried to buy him, but then Wolves swept in and actually outbid us. We paid, I think we both offered the same amount for when he was a wonder kid, but he just wanted to go to Wolves, and thankfully, if he had to come for us, he'd still be playing, and he'd be playing in a side that is doing very well in the Premier Division, but due to his own selfishness, he will now be playing Championship football. And then there's another one. I'm not sure if he's going to be on the bench or not. I don't think he's actually playing. It looks like it's Scott Phillips, who's away with the under-21 side. Complete forward on attack. You can see he's played a couple of times off the bench this season. We're keeping an eye on him because his current ability and potential ability both look excellent. If Wolves are going to go down, we might as well try and pick the bones a little bit before they go. But we've got business to attend to, which is beating them to finish the season in a positive manner. Assertively, we're going to say the fans have been fantastic all season. Go out there and give them a performance to cheer for. And they have been, to be fair. Like, we've been playing in Wigan this season instead of on Isle of Man. Hopefully, our season will be a bit better next season on the actual Isle again. Aguirre with the ball here. We're coming forward, and if he can get the switch on, we've got a couple outside right. Instead, he goes himself. Dixon gets the follow-up after he's tackled. If we had found that switch early, we had 2 men backstick that could have found the finish. Aguirre, though, back to Rosero. Back to Aguirre, who goes to strike himself, and he gets the goal eventually. Only the 3rd goal of the season for the Spanish playmaker. A wonderful run to cap things, or to start things off on that attack before he got tackled. And then good supporting play. Rosero finds him. Exchange passes with Rosero again. Cuts it back, finds an angle, and just strikes it back across the goalkeeper for the 1 goal advantage 5 minutes in. I think I've gotten over my hiccups this episode. Well, this game, same episode, this game. I don't know where my head's at. It's been a long week. Throwing here deep on the left-hand side for us. Anonye gets the ball back, squares it up to the Wolf. Ball towards back post is headed away by Davinson Sanchez. Centre, back to the Wolf. Now centre again. We can reset at the back, and we do now through Taylor. Londono, we've got an overlapping run of full back there. Instead, we go to the Wolf, who finds crossfield switch to Rosero, who's been quite busy here in the first half, and his drive is straight out Lucas Raphael in the Wolves' goal. 10 minutes remaining in the half. We're going to use our demand more shout here. Let's try and find a second goal to take in and defend in the second half. Thankfully, though, Wolves yet to have a shot on target or a highlight that we've seen. 3 minutes to be added on at the end of the half. We're through that now. So at half-time, we're 1 goal up. We've had 4 shots, 3 on target, 53% of the ball. Wolves, 3 shots, none on target, and 47% possession. I'm just going to say I'm happy with the performance so far. Keep it up. We're going to give everyone 15 minutes. Have a look at different match ratings, yellow cards, all that sort of stuff before we make any subs. We've pulled a goal back here. Or not pulled a goal back. We've scored a second goal here. Aguirre again with a very deep ball curling back towards far post, and Rosero just peeled off the shoulder. Side foot's home from about 6 yards. We'll check it out here in 3 dimensions. A great ball from Aguirre. Keeper can't come for it. And I think everyone just lets it run a little bit. And Rosero, the simplest of goals for his third of the season. He scored some big goals this year. He was good in the FA Cup when he played, and he scored a great one there. Maybe we give him a starting berth next season ahead of Fessler, who's just annoyed me with his red card last time out. Right, we're through now here, so we're going to make 1 sub. Winter's going to come on for Londono, who has a yellow card and is struggling a little bit as well. We're also going to give him a chance to get the standing ovation by taking off Tyrone Taylor. Means Gerderson will come on and play as a central defender. But it's kind of a farewell for Tyrone Taylor. He was with us, of course, in League One and absolutely fantastic for us at that level. Did okay for us the first season in the Championship, really keeping us in the division. But in the last 2 or 3 seasons, we've really only kept him around because he qualified as a homegrown club player. If it wasn't for that, we probably would have let him go a few seasons ago, if I'm honest. This is a terrible tribute. I'm not doing anyone's eulogy anytime soon. Escobar with the ball here. Sigurdsson back to the Wolf. Sigurdsson to Anonye, over to centre. We've got a 2v1 on the right. Instead, we go straight to Miranda, who gets his 22nd goal of the season. That's 50K's worth of goal right there, because he'll get his goal bonus for 20 league goals this year. And a 3-0 advantage is potentially going to be amongst our biggest wins of the season if we can add to it. Anonye, good ball over, and centre just waits that one perfectly, brings it under, smashes it across the goalkeeper. A wonderful finish from a wonderful player. And speaking of wonderful players, we are going to hit pause there just as a highlight starting, of course. Actually, you know what? Let's let that highlight play out. And then we'll go through the bit that I was going to go through. Ball forward to Rosero. Back to Escobar. We've got men on the right. Instead, he goes all the way back to Kubis. They've committed 2 men to the press. We didn't need to go that long, but Winter does very well to keep it in our possession. Miranda turns. Plays a reverse pass to Aguirre. Now to centre. Can he get the ball back in the box? It's pinballing around. Centre manages to recover. And before they get it clear, Paqueta comes forward. Dixon with a good challenge. Suarez puts it in behind Escobar, back to Kubis, now Sigurdsson. I don't know why they're showing... It's a goal kick. It wouldn't have been a goal. Why are you even showing us that? All right, now let's hit pause and go through the sub that we're going to do. Speaking of great players, back to the original point that I was making, Franz Wolf has been absolutely immense for us the last few seasons, but I think this will be the off-season that we actually try and move him on and bring in a player with higher potential. Hopefully a specialist to anchor our midfield, but he's been absolutely magnificent. Again, also joining us when we were in League One. Player of the season in League One, player of the season in the Championship in our first season as well. Was excellent last year for us. Just a wonderful servant for the club and very, very worthy of his icon status. But we'll give him an opportunity to get the applause from the fans as he makes his way off the pitch. And we're also going to use our demand more shout here for the last 10 minutes. 3 minutes of time to be added on. We're through the majority of that time now, and it comes to an end. A 3-0 win on the end of the season. Wolves, 7 shots, 2 on target, 44% possession. We had 9 shots, 5 on target, 56%. Aguirre, Rosero, and Miranda getting the goals for us there. Passionately, really special lads. Nobody gave you a chance, and you played magnificently. Well done. So that does see us finish in 11th spot, 38 games played, 13 wins, 10 draws, and 15 defeats. A wonderful, wonderful first season in the Premier Division. -3 goal difference and 49 points in the end. Only 3 points off top half football, and I think that's probably the goal that we're going to set ourselves for next year. Aguirre got the man of the match award, a 9.2 match rating with his wonderful goal. Pablo Villa, who's been all over the shop in terms of managerial appointments and times we've played against him, disappointed in the press. Assertively, we'll tell Aguirre very happy with his performance and the way he played. And we get £22.83 million for achieving 11th spot in the Premier Division, which is absolutely fantastic. 400k to be shared against the playing group, more than deserved for all of them. And we're going to clear this out because really what we have to do, and what will be a big task during the off-season, is decide who we're going to keep around and which of these players we're going to try and move on based on form, fitness, potential, whatever else you want to bring into the equation. And with Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool in that order getting the Champions League spots, Newcastle, Brighton and Bournemouth in the Europa League, or I think the Euro Cup now for Bournemouth. Maybe Arsenal potentially also has to play a playoff, and that's why nothing's showing it to them. They're in green, so I'm not entirely sure what that might be. West Ham, Wolves and West Brom decides to go down. We will have a look at their squads and see if there's anyone we can bring in. But we might as well jump forward a little bit, have a look at our end of season awards. Oh, it's crazy, I didn't realise, but Haaland has won the Premier Division top scorer with 21 goals and 23 appearances. Miranda with 20 goals actually finished runner-up, which is crazy. Fabregas from Man City, 20 goals and 4 assists in third place also. Wonderful season from Miranda. We've got our initial budgets for next season. We get £1 million a week as wages and £61.49 million to spend on transfers, which we will definitely be jumping in and trying to spend as quickly as we can. And here we go. Miranda joins on the bench for the best 11. You'd think if we keep him around for a couple more seasons, he will get into that starting lineup. The Wolf, Escobar, and Taylor, and Kubis actually has joined as well. They are the active players currently in the first choice 11. End of season awards, Miranda gets 49% of the vote as the fans player of the season. I think that we have to give a special shout out to Kubis, who was magnificent all year. Goal of the season was Mauricio Rosero's goal against Arsenal. I think this was the one that got us through in the FA Cup replay, 4th round replay, I think it was. Check it out here in 3 dimensions and see how it goes. Starts with a throw-in for Arsenal where Rosero wins the ball back himself, goes on a bit of a run here, and I think it's about here where he hits the strike. It's a wonderful effort. The goal from behind, the angle from behind the goal is much better, but a wonderful run, a wonderful strike, which was a 90th minute winner, would you believe it? Fantastic goal. Goran Petkovic gets signing of the season, £4 million transfer from Mansfield. And Miranda gets the Young Player of the Season award as well. Season review, match of the season was a 3-0 victory against West Brom. The moment to forget our 6-1 defeat against Chelsea, which I guess makes sense. 16,988 as an average attendance is massive. We have never gotten it that high, and I think even the new ground that we're getting built isn't quite that big, so that'll make for some interesting sellouts to come. 22 players used as the lowest in the division as well. We had a very small squad and did our best with it. Board want to discuss a new vision, that's fine. Our squad dynamics are looking good, and our end-of-season team meeting, we're going to say assertively, we're good enough not to be involved in the relegation battle next season, and that will likely be our target. And nobody has responded positively. Assertively, okay, right, they just don't seem to want to listen. I respect that each of you have your own opinions. So we've spent all season keeping morale up, and then one talk at the end of the year has everybody drop off, which is just ridiculous. Training camp location, let's just go to Scotland. Seems like a nice little drive north for us. And the board have announced construction work will begin to upgrade the club's training and youth facilities. Initial estimate indicates the planned work will cost around £1.4 million and take 6 months to complete. So they're building a new stadium which won't quite be ready until the end of next season. They're improving our training facilities, which is great, which should be complete sort of towards the middle to early next season. And they've given me some more in the transfer budget. Not too much more we could ask for, really, to be honest. It has been a wonderful first season in the Premier Division. Now, if you wanted to go that extra mile, of course, all this week we've been supporting Jim GFM. Go and check out his content. The link is in the description below. Go and check out Calm as well, the Campaign Against Living Miserably. They do phenomenal work and very much deserve your support if you're in a position to actually help them out. From me, more than anything, I just appreciate you guys watching. That's the part that means the most to me. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you guys again in the mixer.